Hello everybody and welcome to the 7th episode of Skyrim Remastered. Now I believe this is going to be another book reading episode just because we have a few on us. And yeah, they take up a little bit of inventory weight, so it's always good to get rid of books. Anyway, let's move on to Song of the Anarchists. The Song of the Anarchists, Ancient Tales of the Dwemer, Part 5, by Marabar Sol. Another book by this guy, okay. When King Maranion's alchemist had to leave his station after a laboratory experiment that yielded detonation, the world went out that the king did want a new servant to mix his potions and brews, but he declared he would only choose a fellow who knew the tricks and the tools. The king refused to hire on more fools. After the discussions, and debates, the king picked two well-learned candidates, Lanfearpus Manferk and Alphatic Fari. An ambitious pair vied to prove which one was the best. Said the king, "There will be a test." They went to a large chamber with herbs, gems, and tombs, pots, measuring cups, all under high crystalline domes. "Make me a tonic that will make me invisible," laughed the king in a tone some would call risible. So Omphikfar and Lamphius Minferk began to work, mincing herbs, mashing metal, refining strange oils, cautiously setting their cauldrons to burbling boils, each on his own, sending mixing bowls mixing, sometimes peeking to see what the other was fixing. After they had worked for nearly 3/4 of an hour, both Lymphius Minfark and Emphatic Far winked at the other, certain he won. Said King Maranion, "Now you must taste the potions you've wrought. Take a spoon and sample it right from your pot." Minferk vanished as his lips touched his brew, but Fafara tasted his and remained apparent in view. "You think you mix silver, blue diamonds, and yellow grass?" the king laughed. "Look up, Far, up to the ceiling glass. The light falling makes the ingredients you choose quite different hues." "What do you get?" asked the floating voice. "Bold. Of a potion of red, diamonds, blue grass, and gold." "By Dwemer God," said Far, his face in a wince, "I've made a potion to fortify my own intelligence." Publisher's note: the poetry is so clearly in the style of Gore Felim that it really does not need any commentary. Note the simple rhyming scheme of AABBCC, the sing-song but purposefully clumsy meter, and the recurring jokes at the obvious absurd names. Emphatic Far and Lymphius Minfark. The final joke that the stupid alchemist invents a potion to make himself smarter by pure accident would have appealed to the anti-intellectualism of audiences in the interregnum period, but what would certainly be rejected by the Dwemer. Note that even Marabar Sol refuses to name any Dwemer gods. The Dwemer religion, if it can even be called that, is one of the most complex and difficult puzzles of their culture. Over the millennia, the song became a popular tavern song in High Rock, before eventually disappearing from everything and but scholarly books, much like the Dwemer themselves. And that's the end of that book. Was it an alright one? I don't think you can read them. No, you can't. Book of the Dragonborn. The Book of the Dragonborn by Prior Emmeline Madrine, Order of Talos, Waynon Priory, year 360 of the Third Era, 21st of the reign of His Majesty Pelagius IV. Many people have heard the term Dragonborn. We are of course ruled by the Dragonborn Emperors, but the true meaning of the term is not commonly understood. For those of us in the Order of Talos, this is a subject near and dear to our hearts, and in this book I will attempt to illuminate the history and significance of those as known as Dragonborn. Down through the ages, most scholars agree that the term was first used in connection with the Covenant of Akatosh, when the blessed Saint Alicia was given the amulet of the kings and the dragonfires in the temple of the one where first lit. Of the one where first lit. Akatosh, looking with pity upon the plight of men, drew precious blood from his own heart and blessed Saint Alicia with this blood of dragons, and made a covenant that so long as Alicia generations were true to the dragon blood, Akatosh would endeavour to seal tight the gates of oblivion, and to deny the armies of Daedra and undead to their enemies. The Daedra-loving Aelids, those blessed by Akatosh with the dragon blood, became known more simply as Dragonborn. The connection with the rulers of the empire was thus there from the beginning. Only those with the dragon blood were able to wear the amulet of the kings and light the dragon fires. All the legitimate rulers of the empire have been Dragonborn. The emperors and empresses of the first Cyrodiil Empire, founded by Alicia, Roman Cyrodiil and his heirs, and of course Tiber Septim and his heirs, down to our current emperors, His Majesty Pelagius Septim IV. Because of the connection with the emperors, however, the other significance of the Dragonborn has been obscured and largely forgotten by all the scholars and those of us dedicated to the service of the blessed Talos, who was Tiber Septim. Very few realize that being Dragonborn is not a simple matter of heredity. Being the blessed of Akatosh himself, it is beyond our understanding exactly how and why it is bestowed. Those who become emperor and light the dragonfires are surely Dragonborn. The proof is in the wearing of the amulet and the lighting of the fires. But were they Dragonborn and thus able to do these things? Or was the doing the sign of the blessing of Akatosh descending upon them? All that we could say is that it is both and neither, a divine mystery. The line of Septims have all been Dragonborn, of course, which is one reason the simplistic notion of it being hereditary has become so commonplace. But we know for certain that the early Cyrodiil rulers were not all related. There is also no evidence that the Raman Cyrodiil was descendant from Alicia, although there were many legends that would make it so, most of them dating from the time of Reman and likely attempts to legitimize his rule. We know that that the blades, usually thought of as the Emperor's bodyguards, originated in Akaviri, crusaders who invaded Tamriel for obscure reasons. In the late First Era, they appeared to have been searching for a Dragonborn. The events at the Pale Pass bear this out, and the Akaviri were the first to proclaim Reman Cyrodiil as Dragonborn. In fact, it was the Akaviri who did the most to promote his standing as Emperor, although Reman himself never took that title in his lifetime. And of course, there is no known hereditary connection between Type Septim and any of the previous Dragonborn rulers of Tamriel. Whether there can be more than one Dragonborn at any time is another mystery. The Emperors have done their best to dismiss this notion. But of course, the imperial succession itself means that at the very least there are 2 or more potential Dragonborn at any time. The current ruler and his or her heirs. The history of the Blades also hints at this. Although little is known of the activities during the interregnum between Reman's empire and the rise of Type Septim, many believe that the Blades continued to search out and guard those that they believed were or might be Dragonborn during this time. Lastly, we come to the question of the true meaning of being Dragonborn. The connection with dragons is so obvious that it has almost been forgotten. In these days, when dragons are a distant memory, we forget that in the early days, being Dragonborn meant having the blood of dragon. The dragon blood. Fuck me. In the early days of being Dragonborn meant having the dragon blood. Some scholars believe that it was most quite literally, although the exact significance is not known. The Nords tell tales of Dragonborn heroes who were great dragon slayers, able to steal the power of the dragon they killed. Indeed, it is well known that the Akaviri sought out and killed many dragons during their invasion. There is some evidence that this continued after they became Reman Cyrodiil's Dragon Guard? Jesus. Again, the connection to dragons. The direct predecessor to the Blades today. I'll leave you with what is known as the prophecy of Dragonborn. It is often said to originate in the Elder Scroll, although it is sometimes also attributed to the ancient Akaviri. Many have attempted to decipher it, and many have also believed its omens have been fulfilled, and that the advent of the last Dragonborn was at hand. I make no claims as to interpreter of the prophecy, but it does suggest that the true significance of Akatosh's gift to mortal kind has yet to be fully understood. When misrule takes its place at the 8 corners of the world, when the brass tower walks and time is reshaped, when the third blessed fail and the red tower trembles, when the Dragonborn ruler loses his throne and the white tower falls, when the snow tower lies sundered, kingless, bleeding, the world eater wakes and the wheel turns upon the last Dragonborn. That was a frickin' long book. God damn. Whew. And now Thief by Readin. If the reader has not yet had the pleasure of reading the first volume of the series on the life of Eslaf Errol Beggar, he should close this book immediately, for I shan't recap. And no books to read. Actually, yes we do. We have a shit ton of books to read. We have millions of books to read. Hold on, let me just snag a few. Oh, this is a book about a sword. That's going to give us a mission. Yep. These ones with volumes, we are going to read in order. So I wish not to read them just yet. Oh yeah, we just got a mission one. I forgot about that one. Sweet. This is gonna be a nice amount of books. That's a really big fucking thick book. Please tell me it's not as big as the book actually looks. Oh my god, how many missions? Oh my god. No, my bad. Cabin in the Woods. That sounds like a fun one to read. Alduin is Dead, the Third Era Timeline. Ooh. Something's gonna be fun to read. Is that all the books? Okay guys, we will now continue reading the books. Just gotta get down to them. Okay. A minor maze. A minor maze. Shalador G. Labyrinthian. Labyrinthian's modern notoriety was gained in the early part of the Third Era. Part of the Staff of Chaos was recovered from the Labyrinthium, which became instrumental in the overthrow of Jagar Chan, ending the Imperial Simulacrum. The site has since become embedded in the minds of all subjects of the Empire, and the ruins are occasionally visited by loyal pilgrims retracing the steps of the Eternal Champion. The namesake of Labyrinthium is somewhat less commonly known, however. The forbidding ruins were originally built as a temple to the dragons. This grew into Bromjana, a great city of that era. Bromjana is believed by some to have been the capital of Skyrim at the height of the dragon cult's influence there. Little historical record exists verifying or refute this, but it is known that the highest ranking priests of the cult met at Labyrinthium to discuss matters of ruling. Bromjana crumbled, however, along with the rest of the dragon cult, and the site lay abandoned for many years, a deteriorating reminder of those benighted days before the Nords. Not until the days of the Shalador would the ruins come into use again. Shalador, the Archmage, was famous for his exploits in the First Era. Verifying tales tell of him battling Dwemer legions single-handedly building the city of Winterhold with a whispered spell, stealing the secret of life from Akatosh, or constructing Labyrinthium himself. While many Shalador legends are hyperbole or outright fabrication, we can discover some truth behind his involvement with Labyrinthian. Shalador stood at the forefront of a movement to enact higher standards among mages, and to discourage spell use among the common castes. This effort is dubiously credited with the original organization and formation of the schools of magic and the foundation of the college at Winterhold. Consistent with this mentality, Shalador constructed his labyrinth deep within the ruins of Bromjana to test new archmages. While navigating the destroyed city itself was not explicitly a part of the test, many candidates did not survive the journey. Shalador valued both academic knowledge as well as practical skill, and simply getting to the labyrinth required the later. I will do this. That's an impossible labyrinth. I'm just going to point that out. Shalador's Labyrinthian is actually 2 intersecting mazes. It has a... No, that's why it was impossible. In an hourglass pattern, one maze could not be completed without exiting the other first, which makes the only exiting instruction for the test especially mysterious. Enter twice, exit once, only once. Alteration would lead you to destruction, only illusions show the way to restoration. Conjure not but be conjured instead. Okay. We can only guess at what the solution to the test may have been, as Labyrinthian became notorious not only for the number of potential archmages who died there, but for the intense secrecy of those who succeeded. Labyrinthium eventually ceased to be used, and is regarded as a symbol of a more brutal age by modern institutions for magical studies. The ruins lay empty, again overrun with wild animals and avoided by travelers. The long history and legacy of this place, however, seems as likely to be erased from our minds as the ruins themselves are likely to sink into the sea. Whoa. That's a book and a half. Okay, we might be able to get one more in. So Alduin is dead, eh? Alduin is real. And he ent Akatosh. Wait, what? He ent Akatosh. He enter Akatosh? Like, whatever. By Chromegar Ironhead Proud Nord. As my da used to say, Imperials are idiots. That is why I am writing... Oh my god, do you know how to spell? That is why I'm writing this book. I ain't never wrote a book before. And I do not reckon to write one again. Oh my god, you are stupid. But sometimes a man must do what a man must do. And what I must do is set the record straight. No. Jesus Christ, this is going to need some deciphering. Set the record straight about the god called Akatosh and the dragons called Alduin. The dragon called Alduin. They aren't the same thing. No matter what the Imperials might say, or how they might wish it to be so. What the fuck is this guy's writing? My dad. That's what it's supposed to be. My dad was never one for those gods, but my mum was. She whispered all the divines and told me lots of things. Or taught me lots of things. So I know a thing or two about Akatosh. Just as much as any Imperial. I know he was the first of all the gods to take shape in the beginning place. And I know he was the shape of a dragon. My dad even told me the story of Martin Septim and the things that happened. What happened when the gates to oblivion opened. Septim turned into the spirit of Akatosh and killed Maroon's dragon. Now I don't know about you, but any dragon that fights the Prince of Destruction is okay by me. Now I hope to understand the problem. Akatosh is good. Everyone from Nord to Imperial knows that. But Alduin, he isn't good. He's the opposite of good. The Alduin is evil. Through and through. So you see, Akatosh and Alduin can't be one and the same. growing up as a lad in Skyrim, I heard all the stories told to me by my dad, who was told by his dad, who was told by his dad, and so on. And one of those stories was about Alduin. But see, he was not Akatosh. He was another dragon, and a real one at that. Akatosh was some kind of spirit dragon. I think when he bothers to be a dragon at all, and not in a god living in some kind of place like Oblivion. Oh my god. But Alduin is a real dragon with flesh and teeth, and a main streak longer than the White River. There was a time when Alduin tried to rule over all of Skyrim with his other dragons. In the end, it took some mighty strong heroes to finally kill Alduin and done with his whole story. With his whole story. Fucking story. Jesus. So I got to ask, does that sound like Akatosh to you? No, friend. No, it do not. And so I, Crumgar Ironhead, do firmly say with the utmost conviction that Alduin is real, and he isn't Akatosh. Fuck, man, you need to work on your fucking grammar, Jesus Christ. Oh. Okay, guys, that's gonna be the end of the episode. I hope you all enjoyed, and tell me if you would like me to make the reading episodes longer, because I feel like I can only fit like 4 or 5 books in every episode, and that's gonna take a long time to read like the 400 books that's in this game. So I'll leave that up to you guys, and yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I love you all, and have a good one.